Amon, the son of Manasseh, the son of Hezekiah, king of Yehudah, was 22 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 2 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, as did Manasseh his father. And Amon sacrificed to all the graven images which Manasseh his father had made, and served them. And he humbled not himself before Yahweh, as Manasseh his father had humbled himself. But this same Amon caused culpability to abound, and his servants conspired against him, and put him to death in his own house. But the people of the land slew all them that had conspired against King Amon, and the people of the land made Yoshiyahu his son king in his stead. Of the books called Chronicles, the second, chapter 34. Yoshiyahu was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the eyes of Yahweh, and walked in the ways of David his father, and turned not aside to the right hand or to the left. For in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after the God of his father. And in the 12th year he began to purge Yehudah and Jerusalem from the high places, and the Asherim, and the graven images, and the cast metal images. And they broke down the altars of the Baalim in his presence, and the sun images that were on high above them he hewed down, and the Asherim, and the graven images, and the cast metal images he broke in pieces, and made dust of them, and strewed it upon the graves of them that had sacrificed to them. And he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars, and purged Yehudah and Jerusalem. And so did he in the cities of Manasseh, and Ephraim, and Shimon, even to Naphtali, in their ruins round about. And he broke down the altars, and beat the Asherim and the graven images into powder, and hewed down all the sun images throughout all the land of Israel, and returned to Jerusalem. Now in the 18th year of his reign, when he had purged the land and the house, he sent Shaphan, the son of Eliyahu, and Maaseiah, the governor of the city, and Joach, the son of Joachaz, the recorder, to repair the house of Yahweh his God. And they came to Hilkiah, the high priest, and delivered the money that was brought into the house of God, which the Levim, the keepers of the threshold, had gathered of the hand of Manasseh and Ephraim, and of all the remnant of Israel, and of all Yehudah and Benjamin, and of the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And they delivered it into the hand of the workmen that had the oversight of the house of Yahweh. And the workmen that wrought in the house of Yahweh gave it to mend and repair the house. Even to the carpenters and to the builders gave they it, to buy hewn stone and timber for couplings, and to make beams for the houses which the kings of Yehudah had destroyed. And the men did the work faithfully, and the overseers of them were Yahat and Abdiyahu, the Levim, of the sons of Merari, and Zechariah and Meshollam, of the sons of the Qahatim, to set it forward, and others of the Levim, all that were skillful with instruments of music. Also they were over the bearers of burdens, and set forward all that did the work in every manner of service. And of the Levim there were scribes, and officers, and doorkeepers. And when they brought out the money that was brought into the house of Yahweh, Hilkiah the priest found the book of the law of Yahweh, given by Moshe. And Hilkiah answered and said to Shaphan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of Yahweh. And Hilkiah delivered the book to Shaphan. And Shaphan carried the book to the king, and moreover brought back word to the king, saying, All that was committed to thy servants they are doing, and they have emptied out the money that was found in the house of Yahweh, and have delivered it into the hand of the overseers, and into the hand of the workmen. And Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath delivered me a book. And Shaphan read therein before the king. And it was, when the king had heard the words of the law, that he tore his clothes. And the king commanded Hilkiah, and Ahikam the son of Shaphan, and Abdon the son of Micah, and Shaphan the scribe, and Ashaiah the king's servant, saying, Go ye, inquire of Yahweh for me, and for them that are left in Yisrael and in Yehudah, concerning the words of the book that is found. For great is the wrath of Yahweh that is poured out upon us, because our fathers have not kept the word of Yahweh to do according to all that is written in this book. So Hilkiah and they whom the king had commanded went to Holadah the prophetess, the woman of Shallum, the son of Taquhat, the son of Hasarah, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the second quarter, and they spoke to her to that effect. And she said to them, Thus saith Yahweh, the God of Yisrael, Tell ye the man that sent you to me. Thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will bring evil upon this place, and upon the inhabitants thereof, even all the curses that are written in the book which they have read before the king of Yehudah, because they have forsaken me, and have burned incense to other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the work of their hands. Therefore is my wrath poured out upon this place, and it shall not be quenched. But to the king of Yehudah, who sent you to inquire of Yahweh, thus shall ye say to him, Thus saith Yahweh, the God of Yisrael, concerning the words which thou hast heard, because thy heart was tender, and thou didst humble thyself before God, when thou heardest his words against this place, and against the inhabitants thereof, and hast humbled thyself before me, and hast torn thy clothes, and wept before me. I also have heard thee, saith Yahweh. Behold, I will gather thee to thy fathers, and thou shalt be gathered to thy grave in peace. Neither shall thy eyes see all the evil that I will bring upon this place, and upon the inhabitants thereof. And they brought back word to the king. Then the king sent and gathered together all the elders of Yehudah and Jerusalem. And the king went up to the house of Yahweh, and all the men of Yehudah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the priests, and the Levim, and all the people, both great and small. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant that was found in the house of Yahweh. And the king stood in his place, and made a covenant before Yahweh, to walk after Yahweh, and to keep his commands, and his testimonies, and his statutes, with all his heart, and with all his soul, to perform the words of the covenant that were written in this book. And he caused all that were found in Jerusalem and Benjamin to stand to it. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem did according to the covenant of God, the God of their fathers. And Yoshiyahu took away all the abominations out of all the countries that pertained to the children of Israel, and made all that were found in Israel to serve, even to serve Yahweh their God. All his days they departed not from following Yahweh, the God of their fathers. And Yoshiyahu effectuated a Passover to Yahweh in Jerusalem, and they killed the Passover in the 14th day of the first month. And he set the priests in their offices, and encouraged them to the service of the house of Yahweh.